Every personal finance video tells you the same thing. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. Here's the problem. For a freelancer, that advice can leave you dangerously exposed. 2 self-employed people lose their biggest client in the same week. One has a cushion size for how she actually works and barely notices. The other followed the standard rule, and 3 weeks later he's putting groceries on a credit card. Same advice, opposite outcome. Today I'll show you the number that's actually right for you, and it hinges on one thing about your work most people never consider. But first, why the normal rule breaks for us. When you have a steady job, 3 to 6 months is reasonable because you've got backups, paid sick days, maybe severance, unemployment if you're laid off. When you're self-employed, those backups mostly vanish. No paid time off, no severance. In most cases, no unemployment check. Your income can drop to nearly zero in a single month through no fault of your own. A client leaves, a project slips, you get sick. So your emergency fund isn't a nice to have you'll get to someday. It's the one thing standing between a rough patch and real trouble. And how big it needs to be depends on a single factor. I'll get to it in a moment because it changes the answer dramatically. First, clear up a confusion that trips up almost everyone. You actually need 2 separate cushions, and mixing them up is why people feel broke even when they're saving. The first is an income buffer, money that smooths the normal ups and downs so you can pay yourself a steady amount even in a slow month. That's working capital. The second is your emergency fund, a deeper reserve you only touch for true shocks, a major client loss, a medical bill, a broken laptop, a recession. Keep them mentally and ideally physically separate. A slow month is not an emergency. That's what the buffer is for. The emergency fund sits behind it, untouched, for the real hits. Before you can size the fund, you need one number, the true cost of a bare month. Add up only the essentials: housing, food, utilities, insurance, transportation, minimum debt payments, and the tools you genuinely need to keep earning. Leave out vacations, dining out, the nice version of your life. This is your survival number, the amount you must produce each month no matter what. Most people have never actually calculated it, and just knowing it kills a surprising amount of anxiety, because now you know the exact line you have to clear. Everything about your fund is built on this number, so be honest and a little conservative. Here's the factor I promised. The thing that changes everything. How many clients your income depends on. Ask yourself one question. If my single biggest client disappeared tomorrow, how much of my income vanishes with them? If one client is half your income, you are carrying serious, concentrated risk, and you want a fund closer to a full year of expenses. If your income is spread across many smaller clients, losing any one of them barely dents you, and 6 months is reasonable. This is why 3 to 6 months is the wrong answer for freelancers. The right number isn't a fixed rule, it's a mirror of how fragile your income actually is. Size your safety net to your real risk, not a generic guideline. 6 months, or a year, of expenses sounds impossible, so don't try to do it in one heroic push. Treat it like a bill. Save a fixed percentage of every single payment, say 10%, straight into the fund the moment you're paid. Then, when a big month hits, resist the urge to inflate your lifestyle and funnel most of that surplus in too. The real trick is to automate the transfer so the decision is already made and willpower never enters the picture. Slowly, almost without noticing, 1 month becomes 3, then 6. Keep it in a separate high-yield savings account, earns a little, fully accessible in a day, and crucially not in the stock market, which loves to crash at the exact moment you need cash. A safety net only works if you use it correctly. Reserve it for genuine emergencies, a real loss of income, a true crisis, and essential repair. A slightly slow month doesn't count, remember? That's the buffer's job. And the rule everyone forgets, the moment you do dip into the fund, refilling it becomes your top financial priority until it's whole again. A fund you've drained and never rebuilt is just a memory of safety. So, to recap. Know your survival number, size the fund to how concentrated your income is, build it automatically a little at a time, and keep it somewhere stable and separate. Do that and a lost client becomes a manageable problem instead of a panic. If this helped, subscribe. Next up, how to build retirement when you have no employer plan. See you there.